BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Do you feel bad stitching Tom up?
Not particularly. It's good housing, I think.
I feel a bit sorry for him.
Yeah, we told him we'd be in full fancy dress.
Wait, hang on, where's your gear? Where's Ronaldo?
Oh, come on, you knew this was going to happen. We're never turning
Where's
up.
Elton?
What is that?
£8.99.
You got Steve Bruce's nose on Kim Jong-un.
That Peter Crouch podcast from BBC 5 Live.
Hello everyone, Elton John here, and I'm delighted to help Chris win this series race. I will be back with a question for Peter later on, but right now I'm here to do the language warning for the podcast. So I must warn you that the following podcast will contain some adult themes and strong language. Enjoy!
Thanks, Elton. Did I just thank Elton John? Hello again, everyone. It's me, Clive Tyldesley. I'm the voice of God for this episode of That Peter Crouch podcast. Like the deity himself, I only do the big events. First Crouch Fest and now this. But then I was just talking with Elton John like I actually knew him. Anyway, I'll be back throughout the evening, but right now here's Peter Crouch, Tom Fordyce and Chris Stark for the inaugural Shyster Awards.
Hey!
Unbelievable!
Here we are.
Elton John and Clive Tyldesley, that's how we roll.
How on earth has that happened?
Boys, we've got to kick this off with. We're at the Shyster Awards. It's the end of the series, but it's also a first, big first for us, which is that we get to see each other for the first time in person. We get to have a beer together. So good that we can be back in the Samrat.
And boys, Sir Elton John doing the language warning.
I know we've got a lot of awards to get through. It almost feels like you and me need to give the first award to our friend Chris Stark because it feels like he's won the race.
Yes. You know, we did hear Elton John on the swear warning. I have to congratulate you on that. Amazing, really. I never thought we'd get any of them. I am making strides with Ronaldo. This is not over. I mean, Chris has won it. Let's tip our hat to him. He's won the awards, but this race is not over. I'm into Ronaldo, and I think next series there could be there's potential.
See, I like to think that this isn't a game that you can win, but it's a game that you can lose. So, I'm, if anything, I'm safe.
Do you know what, boys? After we finished the previous series with Prince William, I think we probably all feared that there might be, just maybe, a drop in prestige, that it would be a hard act to follow. And thanks to Elton, I feel we've maintained our high standards.
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult one after Prince William, innit? But Elton John is right up there.
It's mad. We can't underplay that. So we, obviously got to say thank you to Sir Elton John for being on this podcast. I mean, look, for all of us personally, we've all got memories of that guy. Like, he's a legend. And for me as a Watford fan, it just seems insane that I could be sat in the Samrat. And I feel, what a night this is, eh? Come on.
Favourite Elton song, boys?
Oh. I've got, do you know, my favourite one's an underrated one.
Where are you going with it?
Daniel.
Oh, that's a great tune.
Or
that's not underrated. I mean, that's the top.
Something About the Way You Look Tonight.
Later Elton. Crouchy?
Well, a bit more upbeat, Tiny Dancer.
Tiny Dancers, what a tune.
But I'm going to have to go. The Way You Look Tonight is one of my favourites as well.
Do you agree? I think it's one of those that it's only when you've had a few Laouts and you start doing karaoke, you get into that song and you're like, shit, this is actually a really good one.
I'm going to throw one more in there for you. I'm Still Standing. Amazing vid as well.
Yeah.
But we have got one hell of an awards due coming up for you with this podcast, and we're just pleased we can do this. Pleased you can be with us, and we can all be back in the Samrat together in some sort of way, right?
Absolutely. And it seems fitting as well, boys, that we've started off these housery awards with a little bit of housery of our own. There was me walking into the Samrat this evening expecting to see original Brazilian Ronaldo, but 6'8", and expecting to see Elton John as Elton John, but it was just me.
I've got a little vid of you walking down the road towards the Samrat dressed as Kim Jong-un, and it's going to be up there, top 5 videos on my phone.
One of my favourite things that we've ever done on this podcast really was myself, George, and producer George and Chris coming together and realising that we were going to properly house you.
I got the voice message from Crouchy with the proposed housing, and it was an easy yes.
So it is a huge night for us boys, our first ever award ceremony on the pod. And of course, tonight is all about celebrating the sweet, the beautiful art of shithousing. Acts of shithousery, Chris, and of course, the nation's biggest shithouses.
Yeah, we've discussed this. This is the awards for the future. All the other Oscars, BAFTAs, all the other awards, they're dead. Don't need them anymore.
Finished.
Yeah, you reckon?
No, yeah. I mean, this is the one. It's the only one I'm interested in.
Same.
Is that the same thing?
Same. And it starts now. It starts with this podcast. It starts in the Samrat. You might hear Mr. Islam and some of his guys working away in the background.
Can I just say they really aren't asked about us? Like literally, I feel like we are really in a way.
Are they not doing takeaway shithousery on us? Because the whole thing seems to be carrying on regardless of the fact we're trying to hold this
The
award ceremony.
takeaway vibes just cracking on, like full on. There's like Deliveroo, like they're all here.
So here's how tonight is going to work. It's so exciting. 10 awards to be handed out. We've selected some of our favourite acts of housery that we're going to go through and discuss, all while having beers here for the Shysters, live from the Samrat.
Yeah, Chris, you're spot on. We are hopefully awaiting delivery, excitingly, of the very first Spray and Ace prototype from our Mayor Mole. We're going to have some entertainment along the way. But first of all, Clive, our nominations, please, for our first category, customer housery.
Jamie Redknapp in a coffee shop, submitted by Mitch. Refusing to sell Stephen Taylor an iPad, submitted by Matthew. Roy Keane eating Sunday lunch, submitted by Mark.
The winner of the first ever Shyster Award on That Peter Crouch podcast is Jamie Redknapp in a coffee shop.
Oh, congratulations.
Tremendous, Chris. So as a reminder, this one was submitted by Mitch and reads as follows. I once saw Jamie Redknapp ordering a coffee. As he went to pay, the shop was only accepting cash and Jamie didn't have any. So I stepped up and offered to pay for Jamie's lunch. After the mishap, we shared pleasantries and he asked where I worked so he could pop in to pay me back. I gave that information and he said, I'll see you in a minute. I just need to get some cash out. On my return to work, I told my colleagues that Jamie Redknapp is about to pop in to see me. This was met by a ringing chorus of, Chris,
bullshit.
Confidently and smugly, I waited for the arrival of the former England international, but he never came. And I was left humiliated, housed, and £8.40 down.
Housed.
Being housed is a new one. How is it only taken getting to the Shysters? Have you been the victim of a housing?
The way the word, obviously, Susie Dent will get her on the case, but the way the word's evolved to now housed, you've been housed. It's just tickled me. 840 down as well. Never came. Unbelievable housery.
Well, boys, we have an official acceptance speech from our first winner. This is Jamie Redknapp.
Oh.
Crouchy, thank you so much for the award for customer housery. It means a lot, really does. It's something I never thought I'd get, but I will take it, and I'm honoured. I'm actually honoured. But Mitch, £8.40. What I've done is I've put the money into Crouchy's account. I'll actually tell her my dad's done it for me because obviously he's a bit closer than Crouchy, and they just they could do it together. But it means a lot. I'm really sorry that I didn't pay you back your sandwiches. I genuinely can't remember this story. I think Crouchy will vouch for me here. I don't think I'd have done it, but you know what? I'll take it. And I didn't win that much in my career, so if it means another award, I'll have it. But Mitch, nice one, mate.
He's taken time out of his busy schedule there. Much appreciated, Jamie Redknapp.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie, for that. And congratulations on your award.
Was he actually at a different award ceremony? Could you just hear something else in the background there?
Yeah, potentially.
Not as good as this one.
No, God.
He's at some dead awards.
Yeah.
He's taken time out of that because he knows it's dead to come and accept his shithousery award. Shyster.
Probably the GQ awards or something.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Load of bollocks.
Yeah.
So we're into the swing of it now, boys. I think, should we have our second award? Because this is a big one. It's a clear fan's favourite, DIY housery. And Clive, the nominations, please.
How do I pronounce this? What? Like an actual thing? I can't say penis in public. Shit, I think I just did. The nominations are The Penis Patio, submitted by Jack. Sorry, Mum. Cock Corner, submitted by Aaron. Sorry, Mum. The Willy Windows, submitted by Lewis. And you're sure this will be really good for my career, right, Crouchy?
Yeah, absolutely spot on, Clive. This will be the making of you. Well, yeah, thanks for that. 3 brilliant nominees here, but Aaron Rowbottom of Preston takes the victory with Cock Corner.
Well played.
We hope you enjoy the award, Aaron.
Lovely.
I have to say, I don't think I've seen anyone as excited as Aaron was.
Most of our acceptance speeches are on social media. If nothing else, this one's worth it just to see Cock Corner in all of its glory. All you've got to do, if you want to see this acceptance speech, just search for the hashtag Shysters, okay? And the acceptance videos will be on there for some of the awards tonight. We've got to rattle through. We've got a busy podcast tonight. Hashtag Shysters.
And if this is your first Shysters, that, Chris, is SHYSTERS. It's time for our next category. Some brilliant tales in this one. The nominations for Ball Boy Housery are...
Charlie Morgan, the Swansea ball boy who got Eden Hazard sent off, submitted by hundreds of you. Harry Redknapp telling his ball boys to wind up Daniel Sturridge, submitted by Callum. How Mark Hughes rewarded the QPR ball boys housing, submitted by Jack.
I don't know why housing's really tickling me.
It is tonight.
Getting housed and housing in general is spot on term, that.
Yeah.
Well, those were 3 more excellent examples, I think we can all agree, of housing. But the winner of the Shysters Ball Boy Housery Award is... Harry Redknapp telling his ball boys to wind up Daniel Sturridge, submitted by Callum Titchmarsh.
Oh, great stuff. Congratulations, Callum. Congratulations, Harry Redknapp. And in some ways, congratulations, Daniel Sturridge. We've got a little bit more detail here on Callum's nomination. It says, I was a ball boy for Spurs in the 2011-2012 season where Harry Redknapp would always give us tips on how best to wind the opposition up. Ahead of a Chelsea match, Harry identified Daniel Sturridge as having a short fuse. I was asked to apply slightly more pressure than usual when throwing the ball to him, and I was told to throw the ball at an awkward height specifically to cause Daniel further discomfort. We went 1-0 up early on, and Daniel began calling me a very naughty word when he saw me slowly retrieve the ball. 5 minutes later, he scored and celebrated whilst looking at me dead in the eye. That season, Spurs finished 4th, but I didn't get asked to return for the next campaign.
It's quite a sad story, isn't it? Like, he's worked so hard.
He's done it. I mean,
Got abused,
to be fair, he's done a fantastic job, hasn't he?
Done really well. No, listen, he's well worthy of an award, let's be honest.
Because it feels there, Pete, like he's been the fall guy in this story. He's done exactly what the manager has asked, yet there's been no reward for it.
Well, I feel like he's got Spurs into 4th. And, you know, that is
Pretty much.
You know, what do they get for that? 100 million?
So his slice of that should be...
Well, he's won points, hasn't he, there, by his
Did
behaviour.
ball boys ever get discussed in the changing room for their housery, or...
Well, like, in Stoke, it was a big part of our game, really, because throw-ins was such a big part of it. And, you know, obviously the ball boys carried the towels, so whenever the ball went out of play, they were drying the ball before Rory could get his hands on it. So by the time he got the ball, it was ready to be launched. And obviously they were really slow for opposition players getting the ball back.
There's a story of Rory Delap. Obviously, the throw-in was a kind of form of housery in its own right. So
The whole
debate.
I think Stoke in that season, or the 2 seasons really, that we were a housing team. Let's be honest.
There's a story that West Ham used to move the boards to stop him being able to do the run-up.
Yeah, well, lots of teams did that. Yeah, so we used to move our boards right back.
Right.
And then lots of teams would move their boards really far forward.
We've actually got, boys, Callum has supplied us with a little bit more detail about how he got into being a ball boy. Apparently there was a few days of ball boy trials. Only 1 in 3 who went got picked. And the trials involved chasing balls down the car park. They would also inspect the posture of the ball boys when dotted around the pitch pre-match to ensure they were giving off the right impression.
The game's changed from when I was a ball boy, you know, at Chelsea, and you'd come out, you'd take a free kick with all the ball boys in there, and if you scored or something like that, you'd get a little high five off Dennis. It was like the best moment for a ball boy that you could ever have. Like, those little moments are so big in your life at that time.
Yeah.
It's mad. I'll always remember that. He was brilliant with the pool boys.
Everything that you needed was just a high five from Dennis Wise. Callum here is being talked about on the Peter Crouch podcast, all for his talents as a ball boy.
Well, he's getting an award, isn't he?
And he's getting an award. So he must be buzzing right now, I'd like to think.
Well, oh my God, like I say, I got a high five off Dennis Wise and I was made my life. So for him to get an actual award is incredible scenes for him.
Callum, we really hope you celebrate hard, and let's see it on socials. You really deserve this, Shyster. We're buzzing for you.
Boys, time now for a couple more Shysters. Over to you, Clive.
Thank you. Just before we take the first interval of tonight's ceremony, I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the Shyster Award for Father Housery is Sam Griffin, whose dad disguised a pig's penis as a battered sausage. Mr. Griffin Sr., we have informed social services.
Wow.
Very hard to argue with that one for me, boys.
Yeah, Bruce is disappointed.
Absolutely gutted for your dad. Yeah,
no, he's disappointed. Yeah. He's not dressed it up. He's disappointed.
Well done, Sam Griffin, though. Congratulations.
The winner for the Spousery Shyster Award is Joe Hannon.
That's great news. Yeah, this is the lad who blasts out Vanessa Carlton every time he picks his fiancée up from work. It's pure housery here, Carlton housery, if you will. I'm sure that Ellie is beginning to love the song now, though, right? Surely.
Oh, she must be.
Yeah, she'd potentially rather walk 1,000 miles, though.
And the winner of the much coveted award for grassroots housery is Philip Hatfield. Mr. Hatfield was nominated by hundreds of you. He's the father who pushed his son into the turf to help him save a goal.
Yeah, special this, wasn't it? I mean, this was viral. This went everywhere, didn't it? I had people sending me to me. When I played as a kid, you always have the keeper's dad behind the goal trying to coach him through the game. And that's obviously what he was doing. He wasn't doing it up to scratch. He was trying to chat to him, looking the other way and just pushed him in front. It was brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah, only one winner there, Chris, I think, for all of us.
#Shysters if you want to see that one.
We're rattling through these, Chris. Shall we have a little bit of entertainment? I know you've lined something up.
Yeah, very proud of this one, boys. Obviously, the start of this series... or near the start anyway, we got DJ Luck and MC Neat to do a swear warning. It went massive. I think you'd agree. Crouchy, you loved it.
Huge, mate. Honestly, I've not had such a reaction from my pals, than that. It was huge.
We had to invite the boys back to the Samrat, and Majestic is with us today, but so is DJ Luck and MC Neat.
What's that?
Yes, lads.
What's happening?
I think I went to Iron Apple when I was 17, and obviously your tune was massive. And the fact that you're in the Samrat is blowing my mind a little bit.
How's it been for you, lads? So, obviously, you did the swear warning. It was a reversion of Little Bit of Luck.
Yeah, it was a bit of a madness, really. Madge just contacted me and said, do you want to do this? I thought he was having a laugh to begin with, but it was true. And here I am in the Samrat.
I thought I was just coming in for a curry, to be honest.
For one of our bits of entertainment for the Shysters, it's an absolute honour to introduce to you, Crouchy, and you, Tom, and everyone listen to this, DJ Luck, MC Neat, the legend that is Majestic, with a special version of A Little Bit of Luck.
Run, come gather round. Who goes there? It's Tom, Starkey, Peter Crouch, podcast business. NEATMC, oh my God. The best podcast in the world, Tom Starkey and Peter Crouch. The best podcast in the world, Tom Starkey and Peter Crouch. The best podcast in the world, Tom Starkey and Peter Crouch. The best podcast in the world, Tom Starkey and Peter Crouch. Got Peter Crouch, I drop it with the banter and the laughs. Tom and Starkey drop it with the bad podcast.
The Peter Crouch podcast.
Bad podcast.
DJ Luck, MC
Bad
Neat.
podcast.
Majestic.
Bad pod. Bad
It's the Shysters.
Bad podcast.
Yeah. Another season done, into season 5 and since season 1. The boys have told Cole to go do one. I'ma bless the remix like Tom as a nun. You're working days or working late. This podcast sounds overly great. When Pete gets home to Abby and he's late.
Where you been with your two silly mates?
Season 5 came back stronger. I wish this series was longer. Like Chris on a run at 7 aside. Flip the remix like a pancake when I ride. I'm on a roll, Pete let them know all the adventures of an ex-pro. Peter Crouch with the windows low and a VW mint green polo. A top podcast, yeah, it's bound to be. Let's talk DIY shit housery. A patio shaped like a cock, a Pete's billboard that was drawn by a top. I'm in a hurry, watch my feet scurry. Down the Samrat, let's go for a curry. Mr. Islam, the usual, please. No chicken dish, leave that to Mike Dean. Let me get back on job. Who's seen Peter do the Sir Rod? I love those stories about Eggy Boff. First to turn off. Nah, no one's taken a loss. Like David House boots that once got lost. No shin pads, Chris, you're too soft. Shout to Sir Les, cause he's the real boss. 1,000 laughs, 1,000 smiles. Where's Banford with 1,000 miles? Someone needs to play that song. Wait, Chris, call Elton John. I'm getting hyper, ready for the Shysters. Crouch Fest crew, flash up your lighters. Now let's see who wins. These men are legends like Rasputin.
Yeah! Unbelievable.
It's so good, boys. That's huge.
That was unbelievable.
What a performance for the Shysters. Crouchy.
Honestly,
thoughts?
I thought the swear warning would never be beat. Honestly, that was incredible. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it.
Nuts,
really
isn't it? From the Samrat, DJ Luck, MC Neat, my man Majestic as well. We need to have a quick word with you. You're a big Tottenham fan.
Listen, Crouch is a legend, yeah? You can never forget the header that gets us in the Champions League. This man's in our history, do you know what I mean? So, like, for us, it's an absolute honour. I dumped James Arthur for you lot this afternoon because I'm currently remixing James Arthur's new single. So, yeah, obviously, listen to the podcast as well. So it was a little bit easier because I got some knowledge of knowing what you guys talk about. So, yeah, a lot of fun. And, yeah, the mint green polo come to mind. All I could envision was Crouch and skanking to this one.
The next Crouch Fest, though, we've got to try get Luck, Neat,
Crouch Fest's going to go off. These boys
that.
live, going to be huge.
Well, look, we hope you're enjoying the entertainment. Luck, Neat, Majestic, thank you so much for joining us in the Samrat.
By the way, it's now the Sambrap.
Yes.
This just gets better, doesn't it? Hardly seems possible, I know, but the boys will be back even stronger very shortly for the second part of the awards ceremony. But first, a bit of blue heaven. Let's take you to downtown Ealing, where the licenses fall and the air is conditioned. Welcome to the inner sanctum of the Samrat.
Lads, I've got a little surprise for you. Yeah, listen in.
I'm not a virgin. It was just at a party, to be honest, and everyone was obviously drinking. I think realistically, you get to 16 and you want to, you just want to lose your virginity. Apart from that, there's a lot of peer pressure on at the same time.
Who's found this?
I look back now and I think, it would have been so much nicer probably to wait, but I think at the time it's just something that I wanted to do and kind of say I'd done.
I did think when I mentioned the TV show, it might throw up a red flag.
You're footing it big time. I've had so many. I've been inundated.
Oh, mate.
You can't let him off the hook.
I didn't have the media training that you had. When
I didn't have any
media training about losing his virginity,
did the football, they hit you with a swerve ball.
Yeah, if Clive Tyldesley or
let's do it.
Just selling arse.
Let's do it, Pete. You're in your first season at QPR. I'm interviewing you, Peter Crouch. Tremendous goal. You came from 2-0 down against Gillingham. You scored the first with a lovely volley, set up the equaliser for Chris Kawamia. But how did you lose your virginity, Pete?
Yeah, well, I had to make my debut to lose my virginity.
Welcome back to part 2 of the Shysters.
Chris, Pete, there's a beautiful vista in front of us here. There are broken poppadoms on the tablecloth. There is also something else on the table, Chris. I'm going to try and describe this for us, and I'm going to hand it to you. It is a silver flask. It has got some sort of press-down handle. On the label, it says spray and A's.
Yeah.
The Mayo Mole has delivered.
It's finally here. It looks like this is spray and A's in its current form. It looks like something off a spaceship in terms of delivery.
I feel like they might have overpackaged it. I'm not sure if they get this into shops. It feels like it's cost about $3,000 to make.
Pete, you've got a letter.
So this was smuggled in a brown envelope. And it says, "Boys, it's happened. I've managed to smuggle one out for you. The world's first spray and A's prototype, inspired by Tom from near Glasgow. Best enjoyed on a crispy chip. It's been a long journey, but changing the world is never easy. Signing off, the Mayo Mole."
Well, the beautiful thing is, boys, we are joined by Tom from near Glasgow. Tom, what a moment this is for you in particular. Let me hold up the spray and so you can see it. You're on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Your idea, Tom, has become reality.
It's absolutely bonkers, to be quite honest.
Tom, we're considering you to be the new Steve Jobs with this. This could be the thing that not just makes us all incredibly rich, but makes you, you know.
Well, it's Tom, Jobs, Bezos, all the superpowers.
So Tom, it's incredibly exciting. It's it looks like something you buy in the shops, as in it's proper label. It's got stuff written on the label, all stuff with the podcast. It's got ingredients on the back, how to store it.
Do you know what else I've just noticed, Chris, as well? It says here, inspired by Tom from near Glasgow. Yeah. You see that?
That's amazing. It's incredible.
Can I just ask where the idea was born from, mate? Because were you struggling with mayonnaise and you just thought, do you know what?
We were in Spain with a couple of my mates. My mate ordered some food and the woman came over with the thing of mayonnaise and sauce and then started cleaning a table with the spray bottle. So I was like, oh, hold on, spray anise?
Yeah, you're a genius.
Oh my God! Wow.
These are the moments when society changes forever, aren't they? These little turning points.
They all start. You know, the billionaires. They always start with a little story like that, don't they?
They do. And you know what? You had that thought, and then you thought, "I'll email the Peter Crouch podcast."
And they'll know what to do.
They'll get it. All right.
Well, Chris, shall we try and test this prototype on behalf of Tom? You've got the chips. If you'd like to open the chip, I'm going to give it a good shake.
Are you spraying, are you?
I'll spray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Crouch, you spray. I'll shake it.
This is the first. The first spray.
It's exciting.
Pete, I'm going to put my microphone, because there's a certain noise that we'd like to hear, isn't there? And that noise is... Okay, let's see.
Hold on. I worry I'm in the firing line here. I'm just trying to hold the
It looks like it's got some power behind it.
Just like...
Do you want it in that little bit, or do you want it on the chips?
I'd go in my little cup.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hang on, I don't want to be so close.
You ready?
Fucking hell! Is that
That's
right?
like a whipped cream vibe. Oh my God!
Hang on,
Tom, the power on that spray. Here we go.
It's... Oh, there we go.
Oh, it's got how it goes. Yeah, that's great.
Chris, what do we think? Are you overwhelmed,
How would you
underwhelmed?
describe the way it came out?
What I will say is, you'll have a hell of a lot of fun if you're on a boring date and someone pulls out the spray and ace. It's gonna liven it up.
Then just look how beautifully it's presented onto the chips.
Here we go, Tom.
All right, Tom, this is for you, mate. Let's see if it tastes like what we all hope it does.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
He's going back for a second
Tastes
chip.
like whipped mayonnaise.
Yeah, well, it came out in a whipped cream manner, didn't it?
Tom, how does this feel, having seen what started off as a crazy idea become reality?
It's amazing. I think we might need to cut down on the explosiveness of it. But
yes.
Yeah, it needs to come down a little.
It nearly took Chris's head off.
Oh my God, it was powerful.
Oh, when it first went, I couldn't believe it.
Like a rocket, wasn't it?
Listen, mate, honestly, what I said, I called it right away. I knew it was the best idea we had. We had millions of ideas. We had so many. Yours was the best, mate, and thanks so much for being a part of the pod.
Thanks for inviting me on. It's been incredible. It's been weird, but some journey as well.
Yeah, amazing, mate. And listen, it's not over. This is just the start.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. See you later.
Mr. Islam, having a good time?
Very good time, thank you.
Yes.
Come on.
We're all having a belter.
It's the Shysters from the Samrat.
Okay, this at the Oscars, do you?
It's so good. And what you don't get at the Oscars is people sort of walking past the restaurant, looking in, and then it's kind of odd. It's like an episode of The Simpsons. It's almost like people looking and going, oh, yeah, the podcast is going on.
Yeah, it's just the podcast, yeah.
No one really particularly cares.
We've been very lucky tonight. We've enjoyed a little bit of food with our drinks tonight. Keep going, everyone. I guess this is what it's all about. The Shysters live from the Samrat.
I feel every time
Why
you say
are you
that.
doing it like Martin Tyler?
It's live.
And it's live.
It's also the fact you say it and then it's followed by just this silence. because we don't really have an audience. It's just the three of us sitting in the Samrat.
I just want to build the
on a Monday night.
excitement. Hey, listen, it's the Shysters and it's live. And time now to branch out and acknowledge acts of housery outside of the football world. The next category is other sport housery. And Clive, over to you for the nominations.
Johnny Bairstow pretending to run out Steve Smith, submitted by hundreds of you. Joe Marler getting James Haskell sin-binned, submitted by Thomas. When Jimmy Anderson told Mitchell Johnson to hush up, submitted by Harry.
And boys, I can reveal that the winner of the Shyster for other sport housery is Joe Marler getting James Haskell sin-binned. Congratulations, Joe, and over to you.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This award means everything to me. For a long time now, I've based my rugby game on housery. My motto's always been, those who can't do, be shithouses. So that's what I do. And for too long it's been unrecognised, unappreciated. I'd like to thank listener Thomas for nominating me for this award. And for those of you that aren't aware of what happened, James Haskell first came back and he's so angry. I get him at the bottom of a ruck. I rip off his red scrum hat. He's not happy. I then squirt him in the face with some water. He then loses his shazer and chokes me with a Vulcan death grip to the floor. I'm laughing, but also choking and fearing for my life. But I got up from that and I was the happiest man alive. That was very much 1-0 me.
Oh, mate. That's my favourite acceptance speech of the evening. Oh, it's tickled me that. Fantastic.
Hashtag Shysters if you want to see Joe Marler perform that. What a speech.
Oh, great. That was a really good speech.
Magnificent
That.
words.
Yeah.
Absolutely magnificent.
Congratulations, Joe Marler.
Oh, God.
Other sport housery. What a big win. Be interesting in seeing who goes for that next year.
Yeah.
One of the most keenly contested of all the categories, Chris, I think. Crouchy, I believe the next award or two, maybe for you.
Well, Tom, we've covered so much already, but we've still got to hear Sir Elton John's question. Plus, I know we've got a little bit more entertainment on offer. Clive, can you take us through the next few awards, please?
For the fee you're paying me, I certainly can, Crouchy. The winner of the Shysters Award for Set Piece Housery is Sonny Bradley for giving Emre Can a wet willy. Thanks to Phil Smith for submitting that.
This is so stupid.
It's so mad.
The extraordinary words we're hearing come from the mouth of Clive Tyldesley.
What are we doing?
Very well deserved. Well done, everyone.
The winner in the Manager Housery category is Neil Warnock for pinching Stoke City's towels for QPR throw-ins. Mark Brown submitted that one.
Classic Warnock move, Crouchy.
Standard Warnock.
And submitted by Michael Hodges, the nominee who's taking the Mascot Housery Award home is Wolfie of Wolverhampton Wanderers for taking on Bristol City's Three Little Pigs.
One of the great natural matchups in the mascot world, that for me, Chris, the wolf against the Three Little Pigs.
Yeah. Classic shithousery. There was only one winner, in my opinion, for this one. The acceptance video from Wolfie, because he's a mascot, he has no voice. So he's kind of held up cards in the style of Love Actually. It's quite emotional if you see it. Again, I point you towards it. Hashtag Shysters. It should pop up in your feed if you search for it through there. It's a wonderful acceptance speech, but without anything we can audibly put in a podcast.
And yeah, it is wonderful, but it's also, I think, Chris, it's fair to say it's really quite freaky watching a wolf do what's the actor, Andrew Lincoln?
Yes.
Doing the Andrew Lincoln, who is in turn doing the Bob Dylan, holding pieces of paper in front of him. You've seen it, Crouchy.
Also, that is it's quite like a housery behaviour, isn't it, from him in Love Actually? Like, it's his mate.
Love Actually.
And we all go, oh, this is cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
But let's be honest.
If I turned up, and we should definitely film this, if I turned up at your front door
with a load of
put a little
placards,
stereo and held up cards to Abs going...
Whilst I was in the shower. Right?
Yeah.
You know, oh, so that was Chris. I said, what did he want?
I'd love to
just
try
do
that.
just
for
do
the
some pod
reaction.
housery.
So let's do some pod housery on
Top housery, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I mean, doesn't get much bigger housery than that.
No, I hear what you're saying. One of my favourite bits, if you do go search out the video, is the mascot's handler. Because you know they've always got a handler. And at the end, you just hear this handler go, celebrate. And the Wolfie does a little dance. They've always got like this kind of quite angry owner, I find, the mascot.
Yeah.
Free yourselves.
The other thing, Chris, is the angle that Wolfie's head has to obtain for him to see the signs that he's holding.
Oh, yeah.
He has to almost genuflect, almost bow down before his handler to get any sort of vision.
How aggressive is the handler? Like, I see the hashtag Free Britney quite a bit at the moment. You know, do we need to free Wolfie?
Yeah.
Is he taking? Where does he live during the week?
I worry for him.
Do you know what annoys me? Whenever you see a mascot on a football pitch, they're always accompanied by someone. And I'm saying that shouldn't happen anymore. Like, as you said, free all mascots, not just free Wolfie.
Let them roam free.
Yeah, like, why has someone got to be following them the whole time? They don't need it.
Chris, can we have a little bit more entertainment, please?
Crouchy, I've got something so special for you now and for everyone listening. Just before we wrap up here at the Samrat, and what a night it's been, by the way, boys.
It's been a joy. It's been a joy that I could reach out and touch your faces if I chose to do so.
It's not over yet. We're going to get a couple of beers in. We want you guys to enjoy this. It's a band called Deco, who got absolutely bombarded with messages from our listeners after producing a Vanessa Carlton 80s mashup on socials. This time, they've gone one better.
Got quick feet for a big man. Fernando Torres ahead, takes the last man breath. What an act of pure shit housery. Yeah. If I got none, I'd like doing a pancake. Do you think so less would be my main? If I could just be true. Torres,
Eggy Boff, first one to laugh.
Oh, I feel weirdly emotional.
So do I.
You know what? It's special, isn't it? You know, we've had DJ Luck and MC Neat, what a belter that was with Majestic. And then that, you know, from Deco, who actually, I have to say, got me through lockdown with all their 80s, like, mashups. They were class.
Yeah, Crouchy, I didn't know too much about them until you made me aware of their work. And then I feel I'm now a little bit obsessed. I know they're doing Radio 1 Big Weekend and they've got loads. I don't know if you've seen all the stuff that they do just off their own bat.
I was into them. I was into them before.
Yeah.
The 80s mashups obviously took them to a new level, and obviously they're doing tunes for us, but the original tracks are massive.
Yeah, we need to get to a gig as soon as we can, as soon as we're allowed.
Now it's that time of the evening where we get to sprinkle a little bit of stardust.
Hello again, everyone. Elton here. I'd like to know if Crouchy could bring anyone back from the dead and spend 24 hours with them, who would he choose?
What a question that is.
Do you want to narrow? I mean, that's a very broad question from Elton. Do you think he means like in all genres, or does he mean music or football?
Oh God!
Also, there's a lot of dead people, isn't there? I mean,
true.
You know, we could bring back Henry VIII and go.
Would you?
What? Why? Why did you get rid of Anne Boleyn? She was the best one.
6 wives.
Do you know? Apparently, one of his wives. I don't know if this is true, Chris. Apparently, one of his wives, he was sent a painting of her, and he decided, based on the painting, that he'd marry her. And then she arrived and apparently looked nothing like the painting.
Oh, yeah, but the thing is with painter, you know, Tinder now, think about how different it is from Tudor times. Henry VIII, before, they'd have to wheel in a huge portrait, like 4 geezers or something would like come in with massive portrait. And he'd look at it and go, no. And then bring in another portrait.
My Tudor time Tinder.
Yeah.
Unreal. Massive portrait. You can only get through like 3 a day.
There's a bloke out the back frantically painting them and trying to fill in the details.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's what I mean. So if you brought Henry VIII back and gave him Tinder, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
So this is the first. This is going to be the first TV spin-off from this podcast. It's simply called Tudor Tinder.
Imagine. The fact that I'm just like answering a question from Elton John, he's just called me Crouchy. I do find it. So I'm sitting in the Samrat answering. He's calling me Crouchy. It's amazing, I mean, he's an absolute legend, isn't he? Let's
Listen,
not
this
get away
guy's
from that.
Crouchy.
He's involved in the Shysters, and I let me just thank him for being involved, because what an absolute legend.
Yeah.
From my point of view, Watford fan, he's a Watford legend. For him to be doing the swear warning at the start to help me win the race
Amazing.
is a huge honour for me.
No, absolutely incredible.
And Crouchy, what's your answer then? Is it Henry VIII, or would you bring someone else?
Well, now that Chris mentions the the Tudor Tinder, I feel like I should bring Henry VIII back. I feel like that could be the one.
It's a difficult answer to
quiz
beat.
him on. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to have lots of wine. In a big ballroom.
Might be mead.
I'd just be sitting up there, me and Henry, just having a Laouts.
But just imagine Henry VIII now. Like, if Henry VIII was Henry VIII, like Doctor Who style, turned up a few years later, they never did it on that show. It'd be great. Like, imagine him, like, turning up at Prison, Watford, or, like, just imagine, like, he bowls in his full gear.
The rough.
Straight to VIP.
Just think about how powerful if he was Henry VIII, but in modern times, right?
Yeah.
He's running the show, isn't he?
Henry VIII would have been a football chairman. What club would he have owned?
Spurs.
Why? Why Spurs?
You've got to reason it out now.
He's at Spurs because he can get away with being totally in control. Is it worth us formally thanking Elton at this point for taking us down a...
Well, I'd like to find out. Yeah, I'd like to find out what he was up to, Henry. I've made my decision. I'd like Henry VIII back, and I'd like to quiz him. I'd like to go out with him. I'd like to have a chill in Hampton Court after.
Elton, there you go.
Now, we heard from Lloyd on our previous podcast and offered him the chance to audition here at the Shysters. So Lloyd wants to sing the national anthem at the Euros, which was a campaign that we all thought was a very good idea. Someone who can sing really well and really cares about it will be singing the national anthem.
It's a beautiful idea. Lloyd, it's nice to see anyone face to face. How's the campaign going?
It's going well. And first, thanks for having me here. It felt amazing just getting in the cab and be like, Samrat, please, mate.
The Mecca.
It felt like Wembley, do you know what I mean? And he just gave me a little wink and a nod. He knew what was happening. He was like, get in the back, mate.
I totally agree with you.
Back
you know
road.
what? There is something wonderful. I got out at a tube station not too far away, and you're right. The Samrat, please. He might as well have just handed me a beer there and then.
A beer, half and half scarf. Have a good night, mate. Do you know what I mean? This is on me.
Well, what we want you to do is we thought we could invite you along to the Shysters, and this could be like your audition, really. You could perform the national anthem. It would be wonderful for our ceremony.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll kind of send you on your way for your campaign.
Well, I mean, the campaign's been gathering steam, and I think, being on the best podcast in the UK, if not the world, would just amplify this campaign more than anything. So there are people that have been in touch, and there's murmurings, but it'd just be great to have, as you've said before. I'm a football fan. I go and see England home and away, and I am a classically trained singer. And I thought, why not mix the two? Get an actual football fan who gives a shit about being there and giving out. And also as well, like, I'm not sure if it's a unfair advantage, but if I get the lads going and then they proper feel it, then they win the Euros.
Will you tell us, Crouchy, would it help you having Lloyd physically next to you like this, singing the anthem just before you played?
Yeah, because you know what? It's a fan, and you can tell it means something to him. I think every time I've stood there in that line and I've sang the national anthem, it's one of the most sort of proud moments you can have as a footballer.
Yeah.
But you're standing next to, someone who very rarely cares about football, and you see them in the tunnel after, and they're like, getting the trackie on, getting ready to get the train home. They've got no interest in even watching the game.
They won't even stay.
No, I don't think they'll even stay for they've done their job and then they get off a lot of the time.
What are you thinking clothing-wise, Lloyd? Because often the person who sings the national anthem is the most ludicrously overdressed person in the stadium. It might be a ball gown. It might be full black tie. What are you thinking?
Choir boy.
Yeah, dressed as a choir boy.
Chorister.
Choir boy, but with
The ruff.
3 lines.
Oh, I love that. A cassock. It's called a cassock, mate.
What's the thing that goes round?
That's a ruff, Peter.
A ruff.
Yeah.
Do you wear a
I didn't
ruff?
think we'd go down this avenue, but this is great.
No.
This is like a Venn diagram of my two loves, choir stuff and football. I'd wear a ruff if you want me to, yeah. I'll wear it if you want, yeah. If you got me a cassock, do you know what I mean? Little Nike on one side, 3 lines on the other, little white ruff. I'd wear
whites
anything.
through the main tunic with some red trim
and some probably Copper Mondials underneath.
Lloyd, when you perform this now, what do we do? Because we do have a situation where you have an England striker. You're going to perform the national anthem for us. I take it we stand.
I think we'll have to stand, won't we?
I said, but what I want you to do is just act natural, act how you would. Just like, don't overthink it. Just
we're not going to sing
is
along.
Basically, be part of the team. Do you know what I mean? I'll be,
you be you.
I'll be me. Yeah, maybe you'll be what? Harry Kane.
Ideally, yes.
Who am I?
Phil Foden.
Well played, Chris.
Yes.
So just let me do the heavy lifting, and then we'll just see how you feel afterwards.
Yeah, I'm
All right?
so excited.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the national anthem.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the Queen.
Chris, I think we're all massively stirred by what Lloyd has produced. Like, you're ready to run into a wall, Chris.
I'm so buzzing now. It's
for a moment there, did you try and envisage you were at Wembley playing for England?
I did. Who did you play with? National anthem really got them going. Really, you had to calm them down a little bit.
There was a few. Joe Hart used to get rolled up. John Terry. I think sometimes that was almost our downfall at times. We were so pumped beforehand. It was like, go out there and just like I did at Real Madrid when I got so excited about playing the Bernabeu. I never played there before. I got sent off within 15 minutes because I was so pumped. I was launching into tackles thinking, I'm never going to be here again. I'm going to make the most of this. And I got sent off.
Lloyd, there's no other word for that. That was truly magnificent. Hopefully, a few weeks' time, we're going to see you walking out on the hallowed turf, leading the England boys in song.
Fingers crossed, touch wood. And if anyone can embroider any cassocks, do you know what I mean? Give me a shout. Do you know what I mean? Put the 3 lines on there.
3 lines on my cassock.
Boys, we are now almost the only people left in the Samrat. The deliveries look like they're done for the evening. Night is falling. We're close to the end of the inaugural Housery Awards. Quite emotional.
It was emotional when I first rocked up here, Tom, to be honest. I'm not just saying that. I really do mean that. It was... we've come so far, haven't we? And like Elton John, Clive Tyldesley, DJ Luck, MC Neat. It's just been so much going on, It's like Laouts, Spray and A's.
What I love about this podcast so much is everyone chips into it. Everyone listens to this, fires in messages, questions, little bits that take us down these little ridiculous alleyways. And then we end up in the Samrat tonight in this ludicrous situation. But it's kind of like... What I always love that it comes back to is it's like everyone just bringing this podcast forward.
All it is the power of the pod. It's us having a beer and chatting stuff, and people have no interest in the fact that I was ever a footballer. And the only thing that people talk to me about now is the pod, and that's the power of it.
Yeah, if you hadn't been a footballer, there wouldn't be this podcast, though. So
I know.
It's always worth bigging up the football career, but you're right.
Well, yeah, it's like, I haven't missed it too much because I've got fun stuff going on.
Yeah.
Mainly this.
All right, well, let's not get too over-emotional. I'm sure we'll be back again at some point. In fact, we've got a bit of news on this.
Chris, we have. And this might actually be a nice way of us all staying in touch with Lloyd and see seeing how he's getting on, because the BBC have asked if we do a little cheeky podcast on BBC Sounds during the Euros. So it won't be the pod, but it'll be pod-ish. And maybe we could do, a couple of episodes a week while the tournament's on?
Yeah, definitely. Look, this has been such a fun series. And you know what? If you can do us one favour, go get your mates involved, get them to start again. Start from series 1. Like, enjoy it if they've never heard it before. If you fancy it, what we're going to do during the Euros, we're going to have a little thing on the side. We're going to be a little bit on the side. Boys, we say this every series. Are we going to go again?
Well, listen, we left it too long last time, to be honest, didn't we?
Leave it a while.
Let's not leave it that long again, Let's come back stronger sooner.
Yeah. And whilst the plans have been made for that, if you fancy it, we'll be on BBC Sounds during the Euros. We'll have something going on there for those of you that are eagle-eyed enough to spot it. And I'm quite excited about that. And I'm excited to see you boys again for another series.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, I think we should get the Laouts in. I feel like that. What's that one? The After Hours one. We should have Laura Whitmore here or something like that.
Do an extra one.
Well, listen, boys. As we get our last couple of Laouts in, I suppose we need to say a massive thank you to everyone who's helped us out. To Mr. Islam, to Elton John. I'm delighted I can put those two names in a row. To Clive Tyldesley, everyone Crouchy who submitted a nomination for the Shysters, everyone who made little videos, Jamie Redknapp, Joe Marler,
Deco, the Mayo Mole,
MC Neat Chris.
Yeah, Luck and Neat.
Majestic.
What a lineup this is. What a series of names.
And of course, everyone who's listened to this podcast at any point over the last 5 series, a massive thank you from the three of us.
Nice words, Tom. Clive, take it away.
And as Mr. Islam packs up the Samrat, after another weird but wonderful evening on Pitshanger Lane, it's just left to me to say thanks for listening, and I'm sure I'll be invited back onto the pod the next time the boys want someone with gravitas, prestige and status to say penis in public. But from me, Clive Tyldesley, and everyone at That Peter Crouch podcast, good night. We'll be back stronger before you know it.
I'm investigative journalist Livy Haydock, and this is Gangster. In this new podcast series, we tell the extraordinary story of Paul Massey, a gangland Mr. Big.
You had different factions that was fighting against each other and brought them together.
His rise from the streets of Salford to the head of an organised crime group.
These people were the original Sopranos.
A journey into a dangerous underworld.
You work for us now. Any questions? Of course you don't have any questions.
Gangster. Listen on BBC Sounds.